Hi everybody, welcome back. This is the moment in time that I have been planning for months. The growing season, that's relatively short here in New England, is finally perfect for getting the plants out of the greenhouse and into the ground. So I have been scrambling from morning till night to try to get everything going. On top of that, when it comes to the livestock here on my property, I also wanted to make sure that I timed my rabbitry and my chickens as best as possible as well. And so I had 2 pregnant does. I thought they were going to be spaced out a little bit, and I misread an email from McMurray Hatchery that I thought the chicks were going to be coming at the end of that week. Well, last week on Tuesday, the population here at Wineberry Hill went up by 40. 20 chicks that arrived earlier than I thought, and kits that I wasn't expecting to all happen on the same day either. And that gets to the question that probably you're wondering if you have chicks. The chicks have arrived. What do I do now? We'll cover that in this video, but we're gonna do it in the basement because it's crazy hot out here. Whew, much better. All right, I'm gonna cover this material fairly quickly and in priority order. If you appreciate that, let me know in the comments. Now, it might be surprising to some that you can ship little tiny chicks in the mail. It's actually something that's very old and very common. I actually have a picture of my father holding chickens from McMurray Hatchery, the same hatchery that I got my chicks from 65 years ago. And it's something that McMurray has been doing for over 100 years. The chicks can be shipped that way because right before they hatch, they do what is called yolk sac internalization. They take the yolk sac and they kind of swallow it into their belly, and it gives them a food supply for about 24 to 72 hours. So they don't need to eat during transit. But once they arrive, the first thing you need to do is give them access to water. Now, when I say that's the first thing you need to do, I'm assuming the brooder is set up. And by set up, I mean it has a heat source, either a heat plate or a heat lamp. It has food, and it has water. Now we're going to cover all of those a little bit in more detail, but I'm assuming it's all set up. But the first thing, like I said, is water. What you do is you introduce the chick to the water by picking sometimes you have to do it for each chick. You pick them up and you hold them down to the water source and you just barely touch the tip of their beak in the water. And when they do that, they get just a tiny bit on their little beak, and then hey, this is nice, I want to do that again. Do not push their whole face in, do not push their whole beak in either, because you don't want to get water into their nose or nostrils. They don't have a nose. Their face is a nose. So just be very careful about that. Now, ironically, I planned on filming this procedure for you, and as soon as I unpacked these chicks from McMurray, they immediately walked over and just started drinking water like they'd been doing it all along. They've never done it before, but they acted like they had, so that was very funny. So I guess McMurray just has above average chicks. And another tip to keep in mind is once they've discovered the waterer and everybody is able to get water, I like to elevate the waterer to a height that they can still comfortably reach, but they won't kick bedding into it as chickens so often do. Okay, so priority number 1, give them access to water so that they can rehydrate. The next thing you need to address is temperature. There are a number of different ways that you can do this. There's a warming plate or there is a heat lamp. I like the warming plate because it also gives them a place to hide underneath it and make them feel safe. But the best way to know whether or not it's working is, what are they doing? Are they all huddled under the warming source? Or are they kind of moving around? Or to the opposite, are they all crowded completely away from it? Well, then that means it's too hot. And so they need to be able to move from a warm area to a cool area. And you'll know that it's working just right if everybody's kind of spread around. Some are sleeping underneath the warming source, some are having little conspiratorial meetings over in the corner, some are drinking water, eating, etc. That's a good sign. That's what you want. Next up is the feed. And feed comes in quite a few different variations, but the 2 main types of chick feed are medicated and non-medicated. And medicated chick feed is to help kind of head off the problem of coccidiosis, a very common condition that chickens get that can be lethal. And so sometimes you can get a medicated chick feed that has amprolium, I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, that helps to address coccidiosis. So do your research. Sometimes the chicks that you will get have already been treated for coccidiosis, and you won't need to use a treated medication. Now, chicks need a fairly high protein, depending on what type of chick they are, maybe between 18 and 22% protein. So meat birds generally are going to be on the higher end of that scale. Egg birds are going to be a little bit lower on the end of that scale, 18 to 22%. I should also mention that about 3 days in, it's a good idea to start introducing just a little bit of chick grit. And chick grit makes it possible for a chicken to chew their food. Chickens don't have teeth. They have a gizzard, and the gizzard grinds up their food. And so they'll start using a little bit of fine chick grit in their gizzard to start chewing up food. The next thing to think about is the bedding. I like to use a little bit of a larger flake pine bedding. You don't want to use cedar or anything like that. You also don't really want to use a fine bedding. You would think that that would be good, but a lot of times either chicks will kind of eat some of it or they just kind of get bogged down in it. It's hard for their little feet to rise up above it. So in general, I like to use a flake bedding. And for the most part, that's everything you need to know. I will say that you need to be observant. You need to watch for perhaps a loner that's keeping to themselves over off on one side. A common ailment that happens to chicks is something called pasty butt. It's exactly what it sounds like. They get poop stuck to their butt and it kind of builds up, and it can be very harmful to them. If you spot that, what you do is you just use a little warm water and you moisten the area, try to get it to soften up and then get it loosened off. I would also suggest that you not handle your chicks very much.
Just what I always wanted, and I will hug him and pet him and squeeze him.
I'm not a bunny rabbit.
I know that sounds and feels counterintuitive. They're so cute, how can you not? But they are very easily stressed out, and they are very easily injured. And so encourage your children to kind of wait until the chicks are a little bit bigger, and then maybe that's a time when then it's better to handle them. So there you go. That's the basic idea when it comes to chicks. Pretty easy. You just need to keep tabs on them, change the water on a probably daily basis. You also want to make sure that you're keeping up on the food supply, you're giving them just a little bit of grit, and you will notice that you have a thriving brooder full of chicks. Well, there you have it. How to take care of a chick in the first few days. So there you have it. What to do with a chick after it's arrived. Now, if you have any questions or comments, if you made it to the... Well, there you have it. That's what you do with chicks when they arrive. So there you go. The chicks have arrived. That's what you need to do. So there you go. A video. So there you go. That's what you do with chicks when they first arrive. And so there you have it. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, would you consider doing the YouTube stuff, the liking, subscribing? Also, gosh, why is this so hard? Since you made it all the way here, would you consider doing the YouTube stuff, liking, subscribing, especially commenting? And if you would like additional ways of supporting the channel, you could check out wineberryhill.com. And as always, If you like this video, you might like these.